Welcome to the Motion Church podcast, your weekly dose of teaching, faith, and inspiration. Every Sunday, we delve into the Bible to uncover its relevance for our lives today. Whether you're on the train, cooking, or just relaxing at home, grab your Bible, your coffee, or whatever you need, and let's explore the depths of living life with God together.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm really thrilled to be here again. Maybe some know I was here last year also. So I was really looking forward to be here again this morning. And when we were praising God, God said something to me. And he said, before you start your sermon, you have to say something to the people. You're going to be more clear on this when I'm preaching. But God is really saying to all of us, see, when we praise, it's corporate. It's all of us praising God. But now God is saying, pretend that you're here alone with me. I'm talking to you this morning because I want your attention. Not because you think you've done something wrong, says God. No, it's because I love you all so much and I see you. I see you in the crowd. I know you by name. Let's turn to John 4. John 4, 1 till 15. It's a long, but I want to get you to have the whole picture. So let's read. Therefore, when the Lord knew that the Pharisees had heard that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus himself did not baptize, but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again to Galilee. But he needed to go through Samaria. So he came to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the plot of the ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being wearied of his journey, sat thus by the well, and it was about the 6th hour. A woman of Samaria came to draw water. Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink," for his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. Then the woman of Samaria said to him, "How is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman?" For Jews had no dealings with Samaritans. Jesus answered and said to her, "If you knew the gift of God, and who is it saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would ask him, and he would have given you the living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where then do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as well as his son and his livestock?" And then Jesus answered and said to her, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst again. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, that I may not thirst, nor come here to draw." I remember I've read this story so many times, and even when I was a little girl in Sunday school, they told me this story. And it's going on, this story also about praise and worship. And for the most time, I was like, yeah, nice story. But when I grew up, I asked God, there's more in it. Could you show me? And I don't know about you, but the most times when there's a sermon about this piece, it's always about praise and worship. But today I want to take you to another part. I want to zoom in on another part of this story. And as I told you, I believe that God is really saying this morning to all of us, pretend that you're here alone. I'm talking to you. Because when you sit here, you can think, oh, there's so many stories I've heard, and I've heard so many sermons. But maybe if you think about it, and if it bothers you that I'm standing here, close your eyes, because I believe God is talking this morning. Can you show me the map that I sent with you about Galilee? No, it's not coming. Okay. There, if you see Israel, you have the part that is down. If you wanted to go from Judea to Galilee, you had to go through Samaria. There was also another part you had to go around it, but to go through Samaria, that was not so funny, because Jews and Samaritans, not friends. But you know what? Jesus is always a bit different, right? If we would choose the left or the right side, no. He would go straight to the middle. He would go through Samaria. Why? Because we think, why are you trying to get hustle and bustle if you can stay in peace? But you know what? I believe that Jesus did that for a reason. And we can also read that further on in John, that Jesus is saying, I'm only doing what my Father tells me to do, or what I've seen my Father do. He spent hours and hours in prayer with his Father. And I believe, for a certain reason, he had to go through Samaria. And then in the hottest part of the day, he ends up at the well. And he sends all his disciples into town, and he sits there. Can you imagine? He sits at the hottest part of the day at the well, nobody there. I would have thought, okay, Lord, I hope you understand what you're doing, because I have no clue what I'm doing here. But Jesus knew he was there for a reason. What happened? A lady came. And Jesus saying, can I have a drink? For us, that sounds normal, because it's almost polite, you know? It's hot, you're thirsty, you have a journey. Ask somebody for a drink. But in this time, in this story, it's odd. It's not possible. See, in that time, the ladies were not supposed to talk to men when the husbands were not present. Don't talk. Jews could not talk to Samaritans. Impossible. And Jesus was a rabbi. And in that time, you were not supposed to talk to a rabbi. So all these rules made that it was not okay for Jesus to ask this lady for a drink. So her reaction is very normal. Whoa, what are you doing? Are you asking me for a drink? Are you okay? Don't you know the rules? And I believe, even in these days, sometimes we live too much with rules. You know what Jesus is doing? He's wiping away all the rules, and he's handing her grace. Here I am. I'm shoving aside all the rules devised by man, and I'm handing you grace. Here I am for you. You are here, and I'm reaching out to you. And what is happening to this lady? She is saying, oh, how can you ask me for a drink? You don't have a cup, you cannot draw water, the well is deep. She's thinking in obstacles. There are so many obstacles. We cannot reach that water. It's impossible. But with Jesus, there are always possibilities. There are solutions. And even if we stand in front of a lot of obstacles, Sometimes those obstacles are so real in our life. Because what she was saying was true. It's not like, oh, you make a lot of problems who are not there. No, he had no bucket. The well was deep. So what she was seeing was real. It was there. And sometimes what we see in front of us is real, is there. But when we have Jesus on our side, he can hand us grace. He can hand us a solution. There are possibilities with him. So don't think that what you see in front of you is not there. Don't try to close your eyes for it. No, hand them out and say, God, I only see obstacles, but with you there are possibilities. There are solutions because you're there. And I believe in these days, also in our churches, sometimes we have so much rules and so much things. Don't do this, do that. Maybe it's time to shove that aside and say, here's grace, here's Jesus. Jesus talks to the lady and she says, please, I have living water for you. I see what is wrong with you. I see you. But the lady is so confused. It's like she's blind. She cannot reach. She cannot see. The only thing she sees are the things that are so much in front of her. And she starts to discuss with Jesus about the water. And then Jesus is saying, but if I give you the water that I want to give you, you will never thirst again. What is she saying then? Oh yeah, give me that water so I will never drink again and I will never have to go to the well again. First time I read this story, I thought this is the best type of evangelism all times. Take 5 minutes and somebody's already sold. Yeah, give me the living water. With me, it never happens, but here, whoa. Slam dunk, right? Hole in one. You say, here's the living water. Yeah, Lord, I want it. So we'll never thirst again. But if we look deeper into the story, there's a reason this lady says, because then I don't have to go to the well anymore. Why did she come to the well in the hottest part of the day? It's not logic. If you have to fetch water, you would come really early in the morning or late in the night when it's not so hot. But there's something else with this well. In those days, the well was the social media. It was the TikTok. It was the Facebook. It was the Instagram. Because when you came there, a lot of other ladies came too. And I have to be honest, us ladies talk to each other. We can do that. So everybody came to the well, and there was talking, and there was laughing. But there was also pointing and gossip. And this woman had issues. She had a past. People have judged her. People talked about her. And that was the reason she came on another hour to the well. And then somebody sits at the well and he says, I have water for you and you will never be thirsty again. Yeah, I want that. So I never have to go there again. And I won't see the looks. And I don't see the pointing anymore. I don't feel the judgment. Yes, that's why I want that water. The reason she wanted the water for her was not why Jesus offered her. But that's what her solution was. I don't want to go there anymore. I don't want to be talked about anymore. I'm a scorned lady. I'm judged. And I believe when she started to talk with Jesus, she was waiting for the moment that Jesus would judge her. And what happens? Jesus says to her, go get your husband. And then she says, I don't have a husband. And Jesus says, that's right. You had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with now is not your husband. You know what happens after he said that? She didn't feel judged. She said, I know you're a prophet. I believe that somehow Jesus was talking the truth. What he said was true. He did not want to, put it down, not talking about it, not doing like it's not there. No, her life, he took it out and put it in the light. Yes, this is your life. You've had 5 husbands, and the one you're living with now is not your man. But I'm not here to judge you. We're telling you the truth. We keep it in the light, but then we put grace above it. Because I want you to have my living water. I'm reaching out to you. The scorned lady who was talked about, who really was judged by the way she was living. Somebody came, was not supposed to talk to her. But he pushed away all the rules and said, here I am for you today, and I see you. Come out in the light, and I'm going to bless you. I'm going to give you the living water, so you will never thirst again. One meeting with Jesus, her whole life changed. And that can happen to us today. And maybe you're thinking, I have no idea. This is you. We all have water inside. Jesus has given us the living water. Some oil, Holy Spirit is also there. You think, ooh, I'm ready. I'm ready. But what you see is that the oil is above the water. And it's just slowing down. Nothing happens. But what happens if we have an encounter with Jesus? I have to warn the people on the first row. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If we have an encounter with Jesus. Oh, wait. I hope you all... Can you all see what is happening? Let me make it more clear. Wait. I want you all to see it. Water and oil. But then we have an encounter with Jesus. It starts to fizz. It starts to bubble. Look. You can even hear it. And you know what happens? The oil and the water, they go through each other. An encounter with Jesus today can make that you're going to start to bubble again. It cannot stay inside. It has to come out. And it is saying here, like a fountain. It comes out. It comes out and we have to share. What happens to the lady? What happens to her? The scorned lady, the lady who's judged, who went to the well all alone because she didn't want to have encounter with anybody else. She had an encounter with Jesus. And she forgot that all these people at her town were talking bad about her. She forgot all about it and she left her jar and she ran back to the city and she said, now listen to me. I've seen him. I had an encounter with him. You all should come with me because I've seen it. I've tasted his grace, his love, his glory. I was a scorned lady. I was judged, but now I'm free. I came to him with all the rules. Don't talk to me. I'm a lady without a husband. I'm so and so. And he pushed it all aside and he said, here's me, full of grace, full of love, and I'm going to give you the living water. It's for you. It doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what you did, because I'm here, the living water. I'm not here this morning to judge you. I'm not here this morning to tell you what rules and regulations there are. I'm here with my grace to tell you, here I am. Take my hand and drink from the living water. One encounter with Jesus can make us fizz again. And maybe your life is not so bad as the lady with the well. But maybe, if I look to myself, sometimes I need a good encounter with Jesus because I don't bubble again. I don't bubble. I'm just floating by. And it looks very nice. But I believe if you really love Jesus, you want an encounter with him. So you can bubble again. And it cannot stay inside. And you know what happens? The town came all to Jesus. This Samaritan town, the people, the Jews put their nose up high. Whew, Samaritans. But not Jesus. He said, I'm here for all of you. I did not take the detour. No, I went straight to you because I see you. I want to talk to you. I want to spend time with you. I'm here. And she, be honest. And of course, this church is different. I know, so this is not for you, it's more for me. But if we would set up a new evangelism team, who would you pick to do the evangelism? I would pick the most wonderful persons. But not Jesus. He says, who's willing to go? Who's bubbling for me? And it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your story is. This lady, she brought back all the people. I don't know. If I would have been her, maybe I could have given it a second thought. Go back to these people. You talked about me. You gossiped about me. You pointed at me. No, because she had an encounter with Jesus, her heart changed. And she told everybody, come, and come with me to meet Jesus, to meet the prophet, because he's here for you. He is here. And I believe this morning it's the same for all of us. I believe Jesus saying, please, please, it's time. If you feel that you're not bubbling again anymore, and you want to bubble again, and maybe it sounds a bit funny, but I think you all know what I'm trying to say. I also need a lot of encounters with Jesus to keep myself bubbling. But I can tell you, when I had a real encounter with Jesus, I'm bubbling. Because then I feel how much he loved me. And he is not letting us bubble so we can do the work. The reason he wants us to bubble is because the love that we feel for him has to go away out. Have you tried, when you're in a swimming pool and you have a ball, right? Have you ever tried to push it underwater? if you're a strong man, maybe you can do for sometimes, but if you let go of it, what happens? The ball comes up again, right? You can't push it down. And I believe when we really have an encounter with God, it has to come out. Amen. And when I was praying this week, I asked God, is there something personally you want to say to the people here? And then God said to me, I'm the most holy of holies, but I choose when I was on the earth to go and sit on the hottest part of the day, to sit by the well, because one woman needed my living water, needed an encounter with me. And today, says God, I'm here, and I'm still the same. Because in Hebrews it says, I'm yesterday, today, and forever the same. God is the same as he was then, as he is today. And today he's saying, I'm here for an encounter with you. Don't look at your neighbor. Just feel like Jesus saying, here, fill in your name. Jesus wants an encounter with you. And this morning, I think it was on the prayer list. If I am not right, please correct me. You were praying for more people in the English service. And I asked God, and I said, okay, what is it also that you want that? And he said, yeah, I have lots of people that I want to be here because this is a good place to be. So I said, so, what to do? And it was funny because we were singing and I was standing here. And maybe it sounds strange to you, but it really happened. I saw the floor leaving. There was no floor anymore. It was going down. And it was like water. But I didn't get wet. And I asked God, and I said, what is going on? What are you trying to say to me? And I believe God is saying to this church, if you all have an encounter with me, my glory will come in. And through the glory that is inside of you, people are drawn, are attracted to come in. So it's not I have to, I have to do it. I have to train my muscles because we have to. God is saying, no. If my glory comes in because there's an encounter with me as a church, but also personally, my glory is so much inside of all of you, it comes out. And people around you are going to be attracted by it. And it's not only for elders and leaders. No. This lady, she was not an elder, she was not in the team, she was not in the worship team, sorry, but it's true. She was a scorned lady. Maybe we would not all have picked her, but Jesus picked her. He saw her. And this morning, Jesus is seeing you. And he's saying, please come. Please come, because I want an encounter with you. Kan ik een oproep doen? Of? Leave this morning if you feel that you need to bubble again, or you want a personal encounter with God, please come to the front. It's not going to be scary, really, it's just me. So don't worry. But I believe that some people here really need a new encounter with God. Not because you're bad, no, but because God is reaching out to you. So let us sing, and maybe if you want, you can come to the front.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's Motion Church podcast. We hope that today's message has encouraged and inspired you. Much of our content is free thanks to the people who support us financially. If you would like to contribute, go to motion.church. For more, visit our website and follow us on social media for the latest updates. Until next time,